Hey everyone, welcome to your daily update for Sol and BTC. Prime day today, so we only have a 1 day close. All the bigger closes, etc., they come tomorrow. Um, so, being a prime day, you've just seen what can happen, which is generally volatility, big dumps, big pumps. Whatever they do today, it only affects the 1 day structure, so it gives them the ability to basically to dive through a whole bunch of supports, or if it was a pump, it would be pushed through a whole bunch of resistance, and then they can spend around 24 hours or so just hanging around, getting people to capitulate, etc., and it doesn't change any structure outside of the 1 day chart. By the end of tomorrow, we'll run into a whole bunch of closes, and it's only then that you sort of get an idea about what their intentions are as to whether they're going to be pulling back up or whether they're going to continue the dump. So, looking at the 1 day liquidity, BTC still got quite a bit take to the downside, and of course people are coming in with longs now on Sol as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they open the day and then just go on another dump. They may even close the day above support and then just open the next candle and just push straight through it, because they can come back up in the next 24 hours and it's all fine. So we've been thinking we're going to get below 100k for a while. We've got liquidity there at 101 on the daily, 104 showing up again. So it's there's stuff to take to the downside. They've just spent too much time hanging around at this low. If they would push to the upside, it's pretty much all gone by the time they get to 112, and that's if they even get there. The bounces have just been absolutely pathetic, really. Pretty much because they want to try and trap the longs and then keep pushing down. But looking at Sol, yeah, big gap there between 174 and 177 for that next cluster. Yeah, there is a bit of structure pointing to 169. There is a bit of structure pointing to 174, so you might see a bit of a move to the upside on Sol. Downside wise, yep, we've got longs all the way down into the 150s now. So if BTC gets its little final sweep, then I imagine Sol will too. So let's have a look at the charts. So Sol BTC strength has hit the range trend, so it's bounced off that. That's kind of what stopped it from just completely tanking. And looking at it on the weekly, it's dived the weekly support. So, but of course, it can do that for the rest of the week and still come back up. Monthly, it's diving through the trend, and just looking at, we do actually have 3 month support in the form of a trend and a whole candle. So, you know, it can't go too much lower before it runs into some kind of big support. Okay, let's have a look at the safety assets. Yeah, so it's basically popped the origin level, come up, hit the break, it's sitting over top of the break, and it's pushed into the next origin level. So ideally, if there's going to be any form of rally for alts, this needs to pull back down, get below that 68.05% mark for the day. We definitely do, if it closes over that 68.3 mark, then it's going to have another pump most likely, which is going to make for another dump on alts. So it's in a pretty critical spot, like most closes. Close there, it could spend the day in between the two, which would be a bit choppy sideways type price action. But yeah, not as bad as the October 10 pop, but certainly it's led to some pretty red pullbacks across a lot of the altcoins. Okay, so the weekly's pretty close to hitting. So what I'm seeing when I look at the weekly chart on Sol is Sol's pretty close to hitting its first weekly support, and likewise the safety assets are pretty close to hitting their first weekly rejection. So maybe one more little dip into the new day, and then we could look for a bounce. Okay, so totals, they've pulled down below quite a few of the range trends. It's not ideal to be in a place like this for close, because if it actually closes under these range trends, it can reject off the backside and then drop down to this 3 trillion level down here, which is quite a bit lower than the 3.2 that it's sitting at now. And it's pushing through the weekly break, pushing through the weekly trends. So it's just showing that it wants to stay down here for a bit. Okay. Our monthly trend is down here at about 3.07. So we might have to keep traveling down until we hit at least that. Okay, so if we open the daily candle between this 1.08 and 1.13, we might see a little rally up to there, because it's come down so fast and so hard that it's actually quite a way away from the trend. So if it can open above the support, we might actually get a little bit of a push back up. And the weekly has hit the trend. Okay, the monthly is not hit anything yet. So yeah, probably still a little bit more of a pop down. Okay, let's have a look at Sol. So the daily has dived pretty much through all of this. Welcome to Prime Days. And it's hovering just above this range trend. So, you know, if we hang around here and we don't go any further down for the rest of the day, then we might open the next candle, hit that range trend, and then bounce back up. Two target areas here would be around that 168 and that 172 to 173, and then the range trend's about 174. We could see a last minute pullback of the candle, but that would have to pretty much be happening now. And the other thing that could happen is it could come down below this range trend. So the range trend is sitting there at about 162. If it comes down and goes under that and rejects off the backside of it, then yeah, expect another brutal dump, because it's quite a way down for the next supports on here. Looking at about 141, it could just bounce straight off that 161, but we could actually dive tomorrow anyway and hit that, just because that is the weekly level, I think. Just a quick skim through these. Yeah, so the 2-day has dived, so that'll probably just come back up in the next day or so. 3-day, same thing. Okay, so the 6-day is the same support level as the weekly, and there is a daily support there, so probably gonna, that 161 might be the area where it has to pop down to. Now, if that can't hold it, what do we have down here? We have 150.458, and then we get into the 140s below that. Okay. Let's see. Yep. 18-day break level. It's all the same. It's all the same. Yeah, we've got a level down here at 134. Another range trend here at 143. So if it keeps going, there's a few places where it may reverse, including where we are now. So, okay, so this, let's see if we've finished this. No, we haven't, so 155. So, so just the plain fib projection on this candle here should take us to about 155. So that might be a bit of an idea as to a level to keep an eye on if we're looking for a reversal. Okay. And then the weekly levels, so you've got the 161, which is here. We're pretty close to that now. We've got 148s, 146 range trends, and 142, and around 141. So pretty much if we don't bounce off the 161 level, and if we wanted to complete the that 51-day move, we're probably going to wick through this and at least hit that 155, which would complete that move. And if it keeps going, which it can do, it could just keep pushing through, and you'd be looking at the 147, 148 area. And probably just the other thing to note is we haven't hit the actual hold for the monthly. So this has all come off basically a 51-day move and a weekly move. And because we haven't actually hit this hold candle, when we go back up into that 190.753 or above, we're likely to have another rejection as well. So just keep that in mind if it does start to rally and gets up into there and then you get all bullish and then it turns around and dumps again. Okay, let's have a look at BTC. Right, so BTC on the daily is sitting below support. If it closes underneath 106.261 or 106.317, then it's more than likely going to drop. So it's on a range trend at the moment, which should be trying to push the price back up, but it's also stuck under another very, very, very steep one. And yeah, if it crawls back up into that range, the bounce will probably continue through to sort of like that 107 area, which isn't really that huge bounce, but it probably will at least get there. And then it runs into all that other resistance. If it closes where it is now, it's probably going to break the trend and go down. And if it closes under the trend, that's very bearish. That just means that they want to dump it real fast. Levels on the daily, we got 105.050 again. And then we've got the range trend created by the October 10 dump. That's down at 102, about 102.494. And then we hit the origin down there at 101, so 101.041. And there's a little range trend just coming through just straight under that as well, which was also created actually by the October 10 because it dived straight through two levels before it bounced up. And then if we break through that, well, there ain't much left. So we'd be at a break of the range around 99 if it keeps going through there. Okay, let's have a quick look at these other timeframes that closed yesterday. So we're sitting above the range trend there, but under the resistance or support, which could be about to become resistance. Okay. Yep, so on the break level, below the trends, below. Yeah, BTC does not look good. This is, yeah, most of these timeframes from yesterday have gone and dived right through. So some of them have hit supports, and I guess that it would be accurate to say we could bounce from here. The bigger ones obviously haven't. They're the bigger time frames still need to sort of get down sub 100, but okay, so just have a quick look at the weekly. So the weekly move needs to hit 103.634 to have actually played out. So I don't think, that's finished. Okay. And yeah, but the 1 month is on the trend. Yeah, she's tricky. It's tricky, this one. Yeah, all I can say is that it could bounce from here. You know, we may even get 114 out of BTC, but it hasn't completed its downwards moves. So yeah, really, it's either going to have to go up, become a blow off top. That's it. The next up push to the upside and dump is it, and it's over. Or we need to probably push down a bit more before actually going back up. Would be a little bit more of a sustainable move. Okay, let's have a quick look at Tesla.